How much are you familiar with the NFL? From Josh Allen to Tom Brady, who have massive records in the NFL. You might know a fair amount about these things, but today we're going to talk about 20 things you might not know about the NFL. Let's jump right into it. An NFL scandal. The Deflategate scandal was an NFL controversy in the United States involving the allegation that the New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady ordered the deliberate deflation of footballs that were used in the Patriots' victory against the Indianapolis Colts during the 2014 AFC Championship game on January 18, 2015. The controversy resulted in Brady being suspended for 4 games, while the team was fined $1 million and forfeited 2 draft selections in 2016. A crazy fan. A fan reportedly broke into the Cleveland Browns stadium in November of 2022 and vandalized the field by performing donuts with a stolen vehicle, leaving several skid marks on the grass as a result. Surveillance of the stadium did not reveal a license plate for the unknown person's vehicle. The police reports lists burglary, theft, and vandalism as offenses in the incident. The unknown person also allegedly stole 2 scarves while in the stadium. NFL football. Football has evolved since it was first introduced in the early 1900s. A common misconception is that it's made out of pigskin. What are footballs really made of? Footballs are made from either cowhide or vulcanized rubber. They are then encased in a leather shell, and the lacings are then stitched. Nowadays, they use a tiny chip laced inside the football for recording how much the ball has traveled. The effects of CTE on NFL players. CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a neurodegenerative brain disorder that has been associated with repetitive head trauma, such as concussions, experienced by football players. Here's how CTE can affect football players in the NFL. Brain damage. The repeated blows to the head experienced by football players can trigger a cascade of events that lead to the degeneration of brain tissue. Over time, this can result in significant brain damage and cognitive impairment. Cognitive and behavioral symptoms. CTE can manifest in a range of cognitive and behavioral symptoms. Common cognitive symptoms include memory loss, confusion, and problems with judgment and decision-making, which is a major disadvantage for an athlete. Also, there's an increased risk of neurological disorders and challenges in diagnosis, so it's a big issue. The NFL is considered the richest sports league for several reasons. Massive television contracts. The NFL has secured extremely lucrative television contracts with major networks, both nationally and internationally. These contracts generate substantial revenue for the league and for its teams. Advertising and sponsorship revenue. The league offers extensive branding opportunities during games, on jerseys, in stadiums, and through various media channels. These partnerships generate substantial revenue streams for the NFL. Licensing and merchandising. The sale of licensed merchandise, including jerseys, apparel, collectibles, and video games, contributes significantly to the league's revenue. Revenue sharing and salary cap. The NFL operates under a revenue sharing system where a significant portion of the league's revenue is distributed among the teams. The implementation of a salary cap, which limits the amount teams can spend on player salaries, helps maintain competitive balance while also preventing excessive spending. Popularity and cultural significance. American football has established itself as a dominant sport in the United States, with a massive following and a cultural impact that extends beyond the game itself, such as the Super Bowl, the NFL's championship game. The NFL's ability to capture the attention and loyalty of fans contributes to its financial success. It is the combination of these factors that has allowed the NFL to become the richest sports league in the world. The Cowboys had never won a game in Lambeau Field until 2008. The first encounter between the two teams coincidentally came in 1960 at Lambeau Field, so that's our starting point. It took until the Cowboys' 10th trip to the frozen tundra in 2008 to grab a victory, in Week 3 of Aaron Rodgers' first season as the starter in Green Bay. Since then, the Cowboys have played in Green Bay 5 times, winning just 1 more time. For a franchise as storied as the Cowboys, to have an Achilles heel as they seem to with Lambeau is surprising. Tom Brady is considered the top NFL quarterback with the most number of wins of 263. He's considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time because he has 263 victories from combined regular and postseason games. Tom Brady also has the most number of Super Bowl appearances at 10 and also gained 5 Super Bowl MVP awards. He has won 34 games in postseason. The NFL integrated twice. In the NFL's maiden season in 1920, Fritz Pollard of the Akron Pros and Bobby Marshall of the Rock Island Independents became the first African-American players to play in the league. Pro football as a whole first integrated with the Shelby Blues Charlotte Follies in 1904. The NFL segregated entirely in 1933, and it wouldn't be until the Los Angeles Rams signed Kenny Washington and Woody Strode to reintegrate the NFL. That same season, the team that replaced the Rams in Cleveland, the Browns, signed Marion Motley and Bill Willis to contracts with them competing in the AAFC, which would merge with the NFL in 1950. Where was the first NFL game played? In 1920, the Dayton Triangles team manager Carl Stork attended the team's first organizational meeting, followed by a few weeks later, on October 3, 1920, the Triangles played the first ever NFL game against the Columbus Panhandles at Triangle Park, winning 14-0. That's crazy. Who is the highest paid NFL player? With an annual salary of $45 million, Kansas City Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes is the highest paid NFL player. Some of the other quarterbacks with the highest annual salary include Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, $43 million, Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, $40 million, Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans, $39 million, Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks, $35 million. NFL strikes. Amidst the 2011 NFL lockout, there have been 5 other instances where a strike lockout has occurred. The most notable ones were the 1982 and 1987 strikes. During the 1987 NFL strike, players decided to go on picket lines during the season. Unfortunately, this didn't last for long. However, the 1982 NFL strike lasted 57 days during the regular season from September 21st until November 16, 1982. This resulted in the NFL developing a super tournament at the end of the season where 16 teams were eligible for the playoffs. It is possible that it was the largest tournament in NFL history. How the NFL began. The NFL traces its roots back to 1869. Yale University and Princeton University played what is considered to be the first ever college football game. However, it wasn't until 1920 that the NFL was established. At that time, there were 11 teams: the Akron Pros, Canton Bulldogs, Chicago Cardinals, Chicago Bears, Decatur Staleys, and more. 2 more teams, the Buffalo All-Americans and Toledo Maroons, began playing in 1921, but folded during or before the 1922 season. Of these 13 charter members of the NFL, only 3 remain: the Chicago Bears, the New York Giants, and Arizona Cardinals, who were originally based in Chicago as well. The season ticket waitlist in Green Bay is well over 1,000 years long. If you were to apply for season tickets in Green Bay right now, you wouldn't be given the opportunity to purchase them for a full millennium and then some. This is all assuming the human race hasn't been totally wiped out. The Packers are still in Green Bay and that Lambeau Field is still standing. Talk about waiting 1,000 years for a ticket. College juniors weren't draft eligible until 1990. It's now a foregone conclusion that college football's best players will depart for the professional ranks after their 3rd year of school, with juniors and redshirt sophomores a common sight among the early picks in the draft nowadays. However, until 1990, 4 years in college was the minimum to be eligible for the draft. When you had a full 4 years to work with a squad, stability was at a premium. Now, with the transfer portal, NIL money, and eligibility differences, the game is completely different. It was a change that benefited the NFL much more than colleges, but one that nonetheless forever altered football. Walter Payton only won a single rushing title in his career. Thought of as the best running back of his generation, and by some as the greatest running back of all time, Sweetness only actually ever topped the NFL's rushing charts once in his career, in just his 3rd season, 1977. That year, Payton would also pick up MVP and Offensive Player of the Year honors, which is frankly astounding. We've reached the top 5 of our list. If you like what you're watching so far, please leave a like on our video. Let's continue. The New York Jets have never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. Jets and Birds have played 12 times, most recently 2 of the last 3 seasons, in 2019 and 2011. The Eagles have won all 12 of those games. This includes 5 trips to the Big Apple, 5 wins by at least 2 scores, and 2 victories by a single point. Gang Green will get their next opportunity to break this curse in 2023. But if they can't get it done then, it will have been 50 years of meetings without a single win for the Jets. A stadium catastrophe. In 2010, the Vikings had to move a game on game day to an arena nearly 700 miles away because the original plans for the game completely fell through. In the middle of the night, 1.5 feet of snow crashed through the roof, avalanching onto the field. What's crazy is, it was the 5th time the Metrodome's roof had collapsed. Back-to-back Super Bowl champs. There have been 8 instances in NFL history where a team has pulled off back-to-back championships. In fact, the most recent occurrence was the New England Patriots, who pulled it off by winning the 2004 and 2005 Super Bowls. However, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only NFL team to pull it off twice. An NFL commissioner once died in the stands during a game. On October 11, 1959, at Philadelphia's Franklin Field, NFL Commissioner Bert Bell was in attendance for a frankly meaningless game between the Eagles and Steelers. Late in the 4th quarter, the Eagles' Norm Van Brocklin found Tommy McDonald in the end zone to seal the game, and Bell suffered a fatal heart attack in the stands. After his death, a certain Pete Rozelle was elected commissioner, and the NFL was never the same. And finally, the first player to catch an NFL pass from Brett Favre was Brett Favre. September 13, 1992. It was Favre's first year in Green Bay, and his first completed pass went to a receiver he trusts more than any other on the planet, himself. On a rollout bootleg, Favre's pass went straight off a Tampa Bay Buccaneer helmet and right back into his own hands for a 7-yard loss. Favre actually caught a second pass from himself in 2009 for a 2-yard loss as a Minnesota Viking. The only other player in NFL history to catch a pass after the age of 40? Jerry Rice. That marks the end of our video. Which fact was new to you? Let us know in the comments down below, and click the bell icon to be notified about our latest videos. Thank you!